Hello and welcome to the top 32 of YCS Utrecht. I just had a bit of a production problem there. They couldn't use the word stinger for some reason, but it's fine. Thanks, Jan. Sorry, production is trying to talk to me and it doesn't work because you can't hear them. Okay, so we got our matchup here and we're going to get our players out before I start laughing again. We have Jordan Gallacher from the UK. Specifically from...
Scotland.
All right. So you're you know one of the commentators, right?
Yeah, I know Farfa or Nadir. And Darren. I test with Darren a lot, and Nadir goes to my locals. I mean, I know them both pretty well.
Did you expect to get this far in the tournament, or what were your expectations coming in?
I did expect to do. I tried to do my best for this event. I did a lot of testing. If I didn't do well this event, I would be quite disappointed in myself. So I'm quite happy I made it this far.
We've seen you quite a lot do well at the YCSs. It just always seems to be that kind of last few rounds that were the problem. Did you change anything for this event to be able to make that final push?
I definitely tested a lot more for this event than I have for previous events. Like IRL testing, just like sitting down at locals and playing games of Yu-Gi-Oh! Whereas previously I test a bit less, but like most of it's theory, and I normally lose in the bubble, so testing's paid off, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you can't beat like actually sitting in front of someone and playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Because there's things that come up that you just don't realize.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, well, good luck, take a seat. Okay. I'm being told the players are going to have to swap sides, but we'll do that afterwards. So we have Kevin Schlieben from Germany. Come on in, Kevin. Oh, got a bit of fans. Do you want to say hello?
Maybe yes.
Okay. Tell us, were you expecting to do so well at this event or not?
Not really, but I trained the last weeks, 3 or 4 weeks for that, and yeah. It was good.
How many push-ups? 100?
What?
Push-ups.
Push-ups. Oh.
No?
I guess 200 push-ups.
200 push-ups. Okay. Sit-ups?
Sit-ups, maybe 50. It's not too much because my...
Okay. More than I did. What do you feel about the tournament in general? Have you felt like it's been fairly easy or no? Just
this
quite tough. Yeah, this.
It was not really easy, but not really hard, I have to say.
So just okay. Kind of okay pace. All right. Please take a seat for now, but you guys are going to have to swap. But let's take it over to our commentary team, who are going to tell you a little bit about this matchup before we get started.
Welcome back, everyone. This is top 32, the second in the top cut of this YCS, and we have, I guess, probably the most bread and butter meta matchup we've had of the tournament so far. Spyral versus Shaddoll, something that we were probably expecting to see a lot of at this tournament, and there has definitely been a lot of that. So the new Shaddoll Showdown structure deck released on Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day. And it's brought a whole lot of new stuff with it, hasn't it?
It sure has. It's brought a really, really powerful card in El Shaddoll Acapulon, which allows you to get access to your fusion spells, which has been a huge problem in Shaddoll. And being able to just fuse any two Shaddolls with a different attribute, of course, but we've also got a whole new roster of Shaddolls like Wendy, Ariel, Chaos, all different attributes, so you can get to Acapulon fairly easily. And Acapulon has the effect where it can search any Shaddoll monster, so if you have a bunch of fusion spells and you need more Shaddoll monsters, you can do that. It also discards a card as well for effect, so it can trigger stuff. Yep. There's a lot of utility you can do with Acapulon.
Yeah, so I think that the Shaddoll deck has had recent success. Even before the structure deck, we saw it creeping up in various regionals and stuff. And I think that the biggest cause for that was that Construct came back to 3 fairly recently.
Yes.
And we've seen that when you combine it with this Invoked deck, you have like 12 fusion spells you have access to. So I think that's given Shaddoll a lot of the consistency, because I think like previously what you always felt like when you were playing Shaddoll back in Dual Alliance format, the old Golden Age.
The old 2014.
Yeah.
6 years ago, that.
Yeah, I know,
crazy.
right?
This came out in Dual Alliance 6 years ago.
That's almost how...
And look at it in 2020, still flipping monsters.
I don't know if we're playing Shadow games, but the point...
Why not?
The point is that you always had this problem with Shaddoll where, like, in order to get your engine going, you had to draw 3 very specific cards. Your
exactly,
Fusion, your Shaddoll, and preferably preferably a light monster.
Then
And
in next challenges, thankfully, we got some more. We
Yes.
got El Shaddoll fusion, so it made that it wasn't too much of a nightmare to fuse.
yeah. And now we have this Invoked engine, which combines that bridge all together, and you have your access to your Invoked engine, as well as the Shaddoll with the Invoked engine giving you Invocation, the searchable way to get that, so you can access powerful monsters like Merkaba, and you have, of course, like Construct. There's so many different ways to fuse and combo off with, especially like new things like Cross Sheep. So I'm sure we'll see a lot of that today, right?
Exactly, yeah. The problems that Shaddoll previously had, you don't really notice it as much because there's so many fusion spells now. Super Poly's now at 3, which is crazy because you can use it in like an engine card and a defensive card and a way to break boards as well. You still have Shaddoll fusion at 3, El Shaddoll fusion at 3, and the Invoked engine is so good.
Yeah.
Like by itself, it can end on a Mechaba, so it ends on a defensive cards, but you can also use Invocation to summon Shaddoll monsters by using cards
It's
in
just
your
a
hand.
generic fusion spell.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yes. It's just like polymerization, so you can use it. It's very versatile. You can use it for your Invoked engine, or you can use it for your Shaddoll engine to make pushes. It's really,
Yeah.
really good. And Meltdown as well.
Yeah.
Not being able to respond to your fusions from when Meltdown is nuts.
Yeah, that clause is like cause a bit of a ruling issue and like trying to understand how that works when it comes to being used as a fusion as Chainlink 2. Does that stop your opponent's triggers? There's a whole bunch of array of problems that come up, especially in mirror matches with Meltdown. But I don't think we should have an issue with that today. But there's a lot of like technical play stuff involved. Kevin, on the other hand, not opting to play Shaddoll, going for Spyral. He scrapped Spyral variant, so that'll be something a little bit different. I don't think we've seen the scrap engine
Yeah, we
in
haven't
action
seen.
at all
I
today.
haven't seen much of Scrap Spyral in general, really. I think it's a thing that was like the first. When the Forbidden Limitless first happened, the first thing that people went to was Spyral with scraps, and sort of like deviated away from that with like Extravagance and Popper Up. But the huge benefit of the scrap engine is it doesn't lose to Drun and Lockbird, which we've found that Spyral just can't play under. But it can do like a reasonable amount of things. It can do the combo where it can do Curious Griffin, set a Imperial Order or something like that. So it can still do a fair number of things under Drun and Lockbird. And I think that's why he's went for the scrap variant.
Yep. So we'll see just exactly how Kevin is going to handle the big elephant in the room, and that will be Winda. So we'll see how that shapes
How
up.
can we forget about Winda?
Yep. So we're going to go to the table now and jump in on the action and see how this unfolds. Now, as far as I'm aware, I think Jordan lost the dice roll, so Kevin will be starting us off here. Yep.
With a foolish,
good,
quite good this
magician
time,
soul.
yes.
This is the first time we've seen.
yeah, this is a
Magician
foolish,
Soul.
quite good because he has a Magician Souls.
Yeah, we haven't seen Magician Soul resolve successfully on stream yet.
Yeah,
have
good, Goods and Souls. No, we have not. We have not seen Magician Souls.
Did you say Guten Souls?
Goods and Souls.
Oh, okay. Guten Souls, yeah.
Good, hello, Souls. But this together is Wombo.
Yeah,
he
yeah,
has
so-
the full whack, and he also has a wear out now, so he can get a quick fix, and a big red as well, and Call by the Grave
Yeah.
for the Ash Blossom.
Now,
But he
the
does
thing
have
is,
Nibiru.
yes, Jordan opting to main deck 2 copies of Nibiru. You know his exact list because you guys kind of like played this together at locals.
Yeah,
and stuff.
we made it together, and we both like tested. Like he tested non-stop with me. I was going up and down Glasgow for weeks. So you're welcome, Jordan. So he chose to. We took a lot of inspiration from Jesse's Shaddoll list, and he chose to main deck Nibiru. And the huge impact of it is not only is it a high impact card, it's also a light. And being able to have access to your lights means
that
you
construct
summon
is
your best fusion to get your engine
construct
going.
as well as Merkaba from the Invoked side.
Exactly.
So it's really, really versatile. And of course, we have here the full combo of Spyro, not including the scrap variant that he's playing, but this is generally like what.
This is the point where you don't really need the scraps because the Spyral engine just does everything without the scraps. The scraps just help to get your stuff going, especially if you're trying to push your hand traps and stuff like that.
And here's the powerful effect of Magician Souls, sending 2 spell and trap cards from your field or hand to the graveyard to
insane,
draw 2. The most important thing as well is that Big Red, Kerchow, I have
Brum, brum.
Car, is, it doesn't destroy the monster that it's attached to.
But he's just ashed the Helix, but it just got called by the Grave, so he might be in a bit of a pickle here.
Yeah.
But yes, going back to Magician's Souls, being able to just get you 2 fresh cards, and you also get a +1 as well.
Sorry.
It trades in the Ferrari for a Lamborghini or an Aston Martin, since it is based off 007.
Oh, there you go. So we have him, the Ash being so clutch here versus Helix in most cases.
He's playing Dangers as well.
Oh, yeah, he is indeed. Those usually help you extend it to something like Curious, I believe, right?
Yeah, since he's playing the scrap engine, it makes sense to play Dangers so he can like extend into Curious, because the typical build won't really play Curious. He has Nibiru here. The best time in Nibiru is when they've used quick fix effect to summon itself, because then it'll get banished, which will cut him off from a lot of his resources. And he absolutely has special summon 5 times. So I'm wondering if he's thinking whether to drop Nibiru here if quick fix was in fact special summon by its effect. Because you don't want him to overlay it into a rank 1, because then you'll be able to detach the quick fix and then summon it again. So you definitely want to avoid that.
It looks like he's now deciding what to arrange with Droll here, and I think that's a Shaddoll fusion that he's put to the very bottom there, and then he...
Not that it matters, because he's already got one.
Yep, that is true. And the Hedgehog, and I think that was also a Juggler, perhaps? He probably put the... Yep,
Yeah,
there
he
it
put
is.
the Juggler
It's
on top.
Damage Juggler.
Which is good, because it means if he uses Nibiru, he still has another light. Oh,
there
there we go.
he goes. That's
Bam!
absolutely huge.
Rock Boy
This
for 6. For 6.
For 6
that's
monsters.
Crazy. Away they go.
I think the most important thing here to note as well is that this quick fix is removed from
going
play.
to get banished, yes.
Yeah, so
Have a nice token, there you go.
I think we should probably try and do the maths here. So that's 0, and that's 13, 1.
It's not going to stay there for very long.
I know.
It's going to be big. It's going to be quite big.
14, 26,
It has
plus
a
helixes.
Big booty because of Master Plan's 2-8.
Yeah. But I don't think there's any other defense there, so it's
It's
really
just
just
drones
2-8.
to me. I think it's 2-9 because drones has 100.
I don't think Construct particularly cares anyway.
Yeah, just attack.
Start a damage step, pop
Fact.
special summon monster. Jordan seems to have like a good follow-up here with the Alistair and the Shaddoll Dragon and Shaddoll Fusion there, as well as of course
He's
like the
topping a
light
light
monster.
too, so he can use the Nibiru as a free KB to stick.
And even the
just to-
Juggler can maybe help extend into, once you get it in the graveyard, you can...
can get you another light as well. You almost cut that card last minute, I told him, no, stop it. It's literally 2 lights, yeah. You send it off Shaddoll Fusion, and then you can banish it to add another light. Come on.
In the hand of Kevin, we'll see how he's going to be able to extend here. Is that a resort on the field? Yep, that gets him the last resort.
I'm not sure where you would go with this. He still
Well,
has
he
a
still,
big red.
he still gets Sleeper with this, doesn't he?
Did he resort for it? Yes, he Spyral.
He's hard
resorted
on the
for it.
Sleeper.
No, he switched it off Master Plan.
Oh, right,
so
yeah.
So he's still going to have Sleeper Master Plan to deal with. Not Master Plan. Last Resort. So he still has Sleeper Last Resort to deal with, which is not that much of a problem for Shaddoll because all your stuff floats, but it is still going to be a little bit annoying.
It's really kind of interesting how you can Nibiru a player for 6 monsters and still end with such a powerful Towers-like monster where it's just unaffected, not unaffected, but untargetable.
It's unaffected too. It can't be destroyed by a battle or card effect, and it can't be targeted because Last Resort is quick.
Well,
it's really, really good.
Technically isn't unaffected, but...
It's because it can't be destroyed.
Yeah, but cannot be destroyed isn't the same as unaffected. Because then it would be... Because then it implies it's immune to Borrel. Well, technically it would be immune to Borrel, though. I'm just saying.
Okay, Mr. Man.
Mr. Man. Okay.
Even with the Nibiru, you're right, though. He's still in on a pretty nuts board. He still has a lot of resources. He's got a Master Plan, which can get him a mission. You can use Rescue to recycle his resources. He has lost the Quick Fix, which has limited his current position right now. But in the long run, if he doesn't get OTK'd, he could potentially bounce back from this, because one thing that makes Spyral really good is it's really grindy because of its utility in the main deck with stuff like Sleeper, Agent, and Tough, being able to have really good removal. And they're just big too. Like
Do
Master
you think
Plan's
maybe in
2-8.
a long-term grind game, maybe Shaddoll has the edge?
It depends, because Shaddoll has to fuse, which uses a lot of cards, and not all the Shaddoll monsters replace themselves. So a fusion deck can just naturally run out of steam because you need a lot of cards to play. You don't really have many one-card plays, and since he doesn't have an extra deck monster on the field, Shaddoll Fusion won't be able to.
Is there any
fuse
reason
deck.
he didn't just pop the Nibiru here on his own turn?
I don't see. No. You could have just popped that for free. Maybe you want to play around evenly matched in the main deck.
Here comes the all-important fusion spell, and that goes with the dragon and the juggler here. Do you think you hit the resort with the dragon?
Absolutely, yeah. Resort is so strong in being able to just add once per turn. He didn't get to use Barricade Ball Blocker, so he couldn't do the play where you could just like let it go to grave and then add it back. So I'll definitely. The only thing he can't pop the Last Resort because it can't be targeted. He could hit his back row, but he knows it's rescue, so there's no real point in popping that.
It's such a really hard sort of soft lock to get through, where like your Spyral monsters can't be targeted. So in order to remove the sleeper, you have to get through the resort, then get through the Last Resort, and then finally deal with the sleeper.
It's a lot of walls.
Yeah, just by itself, you have to like jump through a lot of hoops for
Not
it.
unbreakable though.
Not
He's
completely
did the
unbreakable.
first step. He's got rid of a card
Resort,
that he can't really add back unless he does Barricade Ball Blocker, but that takes turns. So his grind game has gotten significantly worse, but he can still find it difficult to play for this sleeper because he had to use 2 cards, bear in mind, to stop his full board. He had to use Ash, who got caught by the Grave, and he had to use a Nibiru, which is not an engine card. So I'm interested to see how he's going to get himself out of this situation where he's low on cards. But thankfully, Damage Juggler adds another light. So it gives him more cards.
There is some floating and replacing themselves with resources, so that card advantage is definitely going to be caught up by Shaddoll. It just really kind of depends here. I suppose this clutch moment of this duel is going to be, this specific duel, is going to be decided by just exactly how the sleeper gets used, I think, right? You have to really make sure you use it at the correct time.
Right now, I don't see a good time because 2 of the cards in the field will float. You'll draw a new card and also add a fusion. The fusion won't do anything because he's already used it, so I think it would be an okay time to do it on the Rock and Construct. But I'm not sure. Now he has El Shaddoll no, I thought that was El Shaddoll Fusion, sorry. He also has Alistair.
Yeah, so he can, you
no
can
point popping that because he can just banish it from Grave with Invocation.
Yeah, one more fusion spell is going to be obtained here. I think what he could have also done, I'm not sure if we can just bring up the graveyard really quick. So it seems that he sent Squamata and Wendy with the Shaddoll Fusion. So
he might have sent El Shaddoll Fusion to the graveyard?
No, that's exactly what I was thinking. If he sent the El Shaddoll card, then one construct leaves the field.
Oh, it's because he used Dragon to pop, so he had one less way to get into his engine. Because Dragon isn't really an engine card, it's just a Shaddoll monster.
Yeah, so he had sent Squamata, which sends the Wendy, to try and accrue some kind of advantage on board here, just to try and make sure that he has something, I suppose, remaining after the sleeper.
Exactly. But I think what he'll be forced to do next is he's probably going to link into either Alistair or Cross Sheep. Oh, but he's using Sleeper. My thought process was going to be that he's forced to use this before he uses Invocation because then he's just going to summon a Mechaba, which will just negate Sleeper and banish it.
Yeah, so I suppose Kevin is kind of forced at this point to, just in case he goes straight into the Merkaba with his Invocation there.
No, he stopped these plays a little bit here because I don't think he has another fusion. Oh, he has Invocation.
Yeah, he's got the Invocation and I guess Construct adds back the Shaddoll Fusion to his hand, which is only once per turn, so he's not going to be able to use that again.
What's cool about Alistair is, which we didn't touch upon before, it can link into Almirage, which puts the Alistair in Grave, so it means you have an extra monster on the field, because it's essentially free because you're going to banish it from Graveyard, but it's also a fire, so it means you can get instant access to Purgatrio with Alistair, and you can also link Almirage into Secure Gardener, which is a light, so it means Alistair solves a lot of the problems of the deck, being able to just OTK with Purgatrio and also give you access to a light, so you can make Construct with Mechaba as well. It's really, really powerful.
So what do you think he does to out this sleeper here? Because I was thinking is there a line where he can take with Gravity Controller?
He's used Sleeper, so I think he's going.
All right, he's going to go into Purgatrio.
I wish the defense of that token's a 2/9, right? So he can definitely attack over his.
It should be big enough for small enough for him to attack over the Purgatrio.
He can attack over everything, but there's still a last resort on that sleeper. So I'm really curious as to how he's going to deal with that.
I was thinking out to sleeper in this scenario would be the Gravity Controller. So he could use the zone of.
It can only bounce a monster in the extra monster zone.
Yep, right, there we go. Extra monster zone.
That's what I thought too.
All right.
I was doing that in Testinel and he was just like, idiot. It doesn't matter.
Silly darn. All right, so we're going to pierce for a little bit here. We're going to.
He is limited with what he can do. I think he wants to hold his resources. Because he's got the Alistair for a follow-up, which is fine. I think he just wants to take his cards away. Because I don't think he has any more rescues in Grave. But Sleeper is going to be able to pop his 2 monsters because he can pop the rescue and then it's in Grave.
So I think the judges are just tallying up the exact defense of the token to make sure that calculation on the piercing damage of Purgatrio is accurate. So it seems to be it's a commanding position for Kevin here. I think that his deck has just shown just an unreal amount of resilience. The hand trap of Nibiru is usually what basically stops any combo deck from being, sort of dominant in the meta. It's just that fear of Nibiru always being there. Salamangreat generally doesn't have a way to play through Nibiru.
It's one of those cards you just have to ignore, I think.
Yeah.
Because there's no real solution to it other than make
Unless you're playing
early.
a deck like Spyral, you play Appaloosa.
Exactly, yeah. Which is something he could have done earlier, but I think a reason why we wanted to main Nibiru is because people aren't mindful of it. People just forget it's there. It's one of those things that come in and out of the format.
Don't really expect it game 1, right?
Exactly, you can just steal games, and you have to take advantage of those games where your opponent is just not thinking about these things.
Yeah.
And I imagine it would have stolen him a lot of games, especially game 1. People just not being mindful of Nibiru, because who is? Because you can't be mindful of everything.
Yeah.
Oh, this is good. He's used Foolish Burial to send Agent, and he's using Rescue to add it back. This is what I was saying before about Spyral's utility and resilience, and able to just keep pushing even outside of the combo, because it is just a good deck in general. Ooh, and he has Magician Souls again.
Another Magician Souls here.
You can use this to get 2 draws potentially if you want.
You think perhaps in the long term, Jordan should maybe do some kind of like a tactical scoop to game 2, because it seems like he's
I'm not sure. He's not
out of options here.
I don't think.
Or how do you really like come back from like the sleeper lock here?
He has Shaddoll fusions, so he can hope his opponent is
Going
silly
to the
and
extra
goes
deck.
in the extra deck. Yeah, he doesn't have to rely on the extra deck here. He's got a. Oh, he had to banish the Helix, didn't he, to summon the sleeper?
Mm-hmm.
So his opponent can just like use his monsters like sleeper and swing with Agent because it's big enough. He just does not need to fusion here because he's getting a lot of advantage. He's going to draw 2 fresh
Two more cards being drawn here by Kevin.
And I didn't catch the other one. Oh, he is going to the extra deck. He might be thinking game here.
Do you think there's probably a way to game here?
Yeah, I for sure. You can make Boral Sword. But he has to be mindful that there's an Alistair in hand, but I think Boral Sword won't care about that.
I suppose maybe Jordan's continuing to play to try and maybe some kind of bluff like a second Nibiru or something.
I suppose once he sees it, once he goes battle phase, he's probably thinking, yeah, that's it, it's over. But he probably just wants to see his opponent do it.
Actually,
there's a beast there too. I completely forgot there was a beast there.
Yeah, there is a face down beast. So
and
I
Sleeper
mean,
hasn't used its effect to pop either.
Yeah, so all he's going to be able
what
to
he's about to do.
All he's going to do is get a pop from that, I suppose. And the beast could potentially draw into an out here.
I don't know what the out would be. It would be Nibiru.
It would just be another Nibiru, yeah.
Why didn't he wait to see what he drew?
Yeah,
never mind.
he could have waited to see what he was going to draw there, I suppose. Maybe he could have held that clutch Nibiru.
I suppose. But I think we're only, how many copies we're playing? 3? It's not like, I mean, I would have been curious to see what his top deck was, but if it was Nibiru, that would have been scenes. Absolute scenes. But yeah, even though Nibiru was like mashed down at the correct opportune time, we've seen that Spyral is just so incredibly resilient, and when it works,
I just can't wait to see the scrap combo in place. Like I want to see like the full like Wyvern, bring back scrap, recycler, mistiming. A lot of people probably don't know what that means. We won't have to deal with it, don't worry. But that full combo, like being able to do the entire Spyral board, just with like 2 cards, recycler plus your rescue. Yeah. So it's a really cool thing to see, and maybe a little bit scary to pull off in this kind of matchup when you know your opponent's maining Nibiru, right?
Exactly, yeah. But he'll probably be mindful of draw, which is why he's playing the scrap engine. But spoiler alert, we're not actually siding draw and lock burnt. So we decided to cut it last minute because we didn't want to respect Spyral that much because we're worried about the Shaddoll mirror match more. But
ends up being the most represented.
That
in
was
top
incorrect
cut, so.
on our part. Yeah, I mean, you got to predict these things, and it's been going well for him so far. I think he played like 5 Altergeisted Swiss, from what I remember. So
there's a lot to consider for Jordan. Do you think he should go first, right? Try and establish a window or Merkaba or something? Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
What do you kind of bring in here?
So going first, what will he have?
He's got the 3rd Ash Blossom, I think.
Potentially. I think you don't really mess about with it in
There's
the main
actually
deck.
nothing here that I can see for going first.
The
it's
only
a lot of
thing
going second
you would
cards.
change is, so we're playing a Super Poly target, the World Chalice God Dragon Almuduk.
Yep.
That's crazy.
It's a super poly target, right?
Yes, it takes like either 3 link monsters or 3 link monsters. So you just get rid of Trigate, Helix, which deals with the utility wire as well,
And the Appaloosa?
and the Appaloosa. Yeah, so out to full board except Sleeper, but Sleeper's not normally a problem if you have your full hand. It was a bit weird there because he had it with only 3 or 4 cards, but with a full hand normally, and you're also summoning Construct with your Super Poly.
Yep.
No, you're summoning Albaduk, sorry. But still, it's an extra poly on board which you can use to make Cross Sheep or the Alistair Link.
Why not play Sphere Mode? Because it's light.
It's a Divine Beast. Dumb.
I totally forgot
Ouchie of the day.
That was just a god card.
It looks like a light. It's a Divine Beast, bro. Not a light. That's why we're not playing Sphere Mode.
Maybe in the next Shaddoll structure deck for like 6 years from now, there'll be a Divine Beast fusion monster.
That'd be sick. There should be one already.
So for Kevin, I think it's very
Mystic
likely.
Mind.
Yep,
That'll be
kind of like the expected one here. I mean, you sort of have to expect that your opponent is going to be playing Mine at this point because we've seen so much of it across
That's why
the format this
Jordan
weekend.
is playing Paleozoic Dynamiscus. And I
One
think,
single Dynamiscus in the main
well,
deck.
we were signing another one, but we thought it was better to just side Cosmic, because going first against Spyral, it makes sense to just throw in Cosmic anyway, because you're hitting stuff like Last Resort and the Rescues, and you're hitting Resort as well, and hitting Resort can be really, really powerful, because a lot of the time you hard draw Resort, and it can be really problematic when you can't target the field, and it just cuts them off from an engine card, so why wouldn't you just throw it in? And he's hard drawn, Paleozoic Dynamiscus, so if he did have
it would be there, yeah.
a Mystic Mind, and it wouldn't be a problem at all.
What kind of hand are we looking at here? Is this a Merkaba pass I'm looking at?
I don't think so. I'm trying to think about it in my head. So he has Shaddoll Wendy.
Which
so
can get him another Shaddoll from the deck.
he doesn't
down.
have another Shaddoll to make. Forgot his name, Acapulone. He needed one more Shaddoll for that, which is a bit of a shame. So I think this is looking like he would go into... Oh, he could go into Secure Gardener, but I don't think Invocation can fuse from field, so you won't be able to go down that route to make Construct. So it is looking like he's probably going to have to make him a pass, I think. So I think he's going to have to go into Secure Gardener here just to make him a pass. But a lot of the time, that is enough, you know.
Yeah, if you stop like a clutch normal summon, it's generally like quite an advantageous position to be in. Oh, Lightning Storm has been brought in by Kevin here, which will
bait the Mechaba.
Yeah.
Unless he puts it in defense mode like a Chad.
I'm not sure about Lightning Storm in this matchup, right? I mean, yeah, obviously it's great against Merkaba, but like, what
He's
if
probably
you're...
thinking it baits the El Shadolls.
Okay.
I'm not sure. It's not really much of an out to Winda, really.
Yeah, that's like what I was concerned about. It's like, you know, generally you'd probably be fearing Winda, if anything, during this matchup.
I think if he had another Shaddoll, he could have ended on Winda, and I think that would have been more than enough. But it's not looking like a great hand. Like, he has Dynamiscus as a good defensive card, though. But he does have the Lightning Storm, so you could either use that to bait the back row, or you can bait the Mechaba, and it is likely he's going to use it to bait the Mechaba. But he'll be able to negate it because he has a spare Terraform. No, he used the Terraform for Meltdown, so he has an Invocation in hand, which I suppose is spare because I'll still just get him another one.
Do you think it's worth losing? I suppose you could just...
Cyber Dragon Nectar, Ice playing that.
Ooh, Nectar. Okay, so he just summons it and goes into Mega Fleet? Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
But he's not doing that. He's choosing to special summon with Agent to try and bait the back row, I guess. So he's called it wrong. He's went to call Monster, so that Agent effect has been used, and it is a hard once per turn, so you won't be able to use Agent's effect again. But if it's special summoned another way, he can use it to pop a back row. It's not all one effect, it's a separate effect.
So Naxter reads very simply, you can discard another monster and special this from your hand, and its name counts as Cyber Dragon in the field, that's the reason it allows you to go into the Mega Fleet.
Can you set it and it's still treated as Cyber Dragon?
No, I don't believe so.
I can't remember if that was the one that could or it couldn't. I think you can set it. No, it has to be Core. I think it might have to just be Cyber Dragon Core.
Not 100%.
So this is really
sure
good utility here, because he's discarding the Master Plan, which you can bring back later to summon this Nectar.
Yeah, so it's got like utility because there's like a lot of like Spyral monsters you could potentially put in the graveyard if you've drawn like Brig Red or something. So
and he is playing Chimera Tech, and I'm pretty sure Mechaba is a machine.
Mechaba is actually a machine, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Oh, that totally went over my head, yeah.
So that forced a negate there. So he has Magician's Soul, so it looks like he's going to ruffle stomp him here. It's getting like...
Yeah, it's not looking too great. Like, he's going to be able to put the Soul on the field, get a couple of cards.
But again, this is what's great about Spyral when it gets going. He hasn't even had to use that Lightning Stone to bait anything because it has so many pushes. You can play a lot of cool text as well that can force out stuff as well, like Cyber Dragon Nectar is what we saw.
Do you think that's a mistake in not using the Lightning Storm at some point here? Because like we've dealt with the Merkaba, so surely just get that one-off back row. I mean, he doesn't know it's Dynamiscus. Maybe he expects it to be a bluff. Maybe it's like a...
You would think it was Super Poly. Or surely, or El Shaddoll Fusion. Probably not El Shaddoll Fusion because you would think he would have used it, but you would predict it's Super Poly, and I don't see why you wouldn't want to just
not
get
play
rid
into
of
it.
Yeah, he's just like... It seems like he's just discarded it to draw a new card.
Yeah, so he draws into the Assault there, which... is there going to be a way for him to get that into the graveyards?
The Assault?
Oh, yeah, he can go into the Borg here.
Barricade Borg.
Or Nightmare Phoenix, I suppose, if he wants to hit a back row.
You'd probably go for Nightmare Phoenix, yeah. Why not? Free. Unless he goes Barricade Borg blocker.
Oh, he's going to go into
okay.
Ip. Okay.
Completely shut us both up.
I'll do what I want.
I want to go for Chili and a girl.
All right, banishing 3 here to go into...
She just goes on roller skates and just like hacks the Cyberweb, right? Is that what you said?
Yes, the official lore on Masquerada is that no one actually knows her true face, and she's a hacker, basically. Literally just a computer hacker who, like, I suppose steals from like I don't know, banks or something.
Well, it looks like she might hack.
That's official. Just saying, that's
She
official.
might hack Jordan's dreams and win in this YCS. But
there's the Dynamiscus,
which is really good. Is he scooping?
Oh, is he going to scoop it up there?
Oh my goodness!
Okay, right.
Okay, I did not expect that at all. Imagine scooping to a Dynamiscus. Well, okay, that took me completely by surprise. I really thought Kevin was going to take that one, in all honesty, from the looks of the field.
Yeah.
But I think since he banished Sleeper, he didn't really have much of an engine going for him anymore.
One of the most powerful Link era decks in Spyro scooping to a Karma Cut.
Yeah,
So.
he could have easily played around that too if he just made Lightning Storm, Phoenix. There were so many points where I'm surprised he just wasn't scared of Super Poly at all, or anything in particular, like Karma Cut, like anything.
Perhaps at the start of the turn there, he could have considered using a Lightning Storm, but maybe it's something to ask perhaps in the post-player interview and find out just exactly what his train of thought there is. But now this is going all the way to a game 3. This is Shaddoll versus Spyral. If you've just joined us and just tuned in, we just watched the sort of kind of one-sided, would you say?
Yeah, they've both been fairly one-sided, I think. Well, game 1 wasn't fairly one-sided because he got Nibiru, but it still felt like Spyral had so many cards in order to deal with.
So we saw Nibiru for 6 in game 1.
Still won.
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
It's still won. So it just really goes to show the power of Spyro and its resilience.
It's the best deck for a reason. That's what people say.
I'm just saying, but I may or may not have put a prediction out there suggesting that we would see Spyro as the most dominant in Top Cut, and here we are.
Well, I said Invoked Shaddoll, so I guess one of us will be proven right here. So let's have a look and see.
All right, so...
side plan.
Yep.
Let's have a look.
I think Kevin is... he's probably going to want to go first, I'd say. I mean...
It depends. His sideboard is really powerful. He also has Nibiru, he has Mystic Mine, he has Evenly Matched.
There's a lot of blowout cards he's playing here, but
he also might not just want to lose the Shaddoll fusion, so he might make him start, and hopefully Jordan will play like a open a not so optimal hand, because his side plan is really strong. However, he might think, you know what, I want to go first and just not think as much.
Sometimes it's like the safest thing to do, right? I mean, my deck's the most powerful, highest ceiling in the format.
Yeah, exactly,
Let me just pop off, right?
Whenever you play like a really strong combo deck that puts up an auto-win board, a lot of the time you're thinking, yeah, I could make him start, but I do just want to get my free win. But if he does go down that route, Jordan has a lot of cards to combat that. We're already maining Mind Control and Super Poly. And like I say, we have Armaduke just to deal with a full board.
It's interesting because like this deck seems like it was built to go second, but you still go first despite the fact you're playing like a lot of blowouts like Super Poly, Nibiru.
Sometimes you need them because Super Poly can be used as an engine card as well to get your engine going. You might have to discard a card, which is a bit of a pain because you need like your whole hand to play with it all sometimes.
Baby Ranger, I have to discard.
We tried testing it with
My
just
card
4
has
cards.
a cost.
Stop it! We tried testing it with just 4 cards to see if we can, because we threw in Ash Blossom last minute because we thought it was really powerful in the mirror to stop one of the fusion spells.
You know what's funny? Like you just threw this like random 2 of like Ash Blossom in,
and every round in the side.
Every round I've spoke to Jordan like throughout Swiss and stuff, he's just been like,
Ash Blossom's
I just had
mental.
Ash. I ashed the Shaddoll fusion.
I told you.
Like, okay, all right.
It's deceptively strong. It's simple, but it gets you there. It gets you there.
I think our players are ready just to start off game 3, so we're going to head back over. Getting those hands loaded in for you here, and we can see that.
I'm curious to see who starts. It looks like it's going to be Kevin.
Yeah, let's see. He was very excited to get going there.
He was like, I want to summon this scrap recycler.
I think he's opened a strong hand here.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Trying to get some scraps.
It seems like so he kept a Naxter, despite the fact he knew he was going first. Why do you think that is?
It's just a generic extender.
Okay,
to discard Master Plan.
Oh, okay, right. Sending Rose. It's a Crystron card, yeah?
What was that, excuse me?
Crystron Rosenix. You can, I believe, banish it from the graveyard.
Oh, I remember that, when you played it in Paleo.
Yep, banish this card from your graveyard. Special 1 Crystron token, a Machine Water. Level 1 token.
I love Crystrons.
Generally, I think the go-to is Scrap Recycle will send O-Line, but I guess Crystron Phoenix does essentially the same thing.
Yeah.
But it's, I guess, less
level 4?
bad to draw.
Does he play rank 4s? I suppose, like, sometimes he'd be able to...
I think it's just bigger than O-Line, and it's like...
Yeah.
Essentially serves the same purpose, so... All right, here comes the Scrap Golem for a lot of...
The fridge!
The fridge. A lot of people I've spoken to this weekend who've been playing Scrap Recycler would come up to me and tell me, I drew the fridge. Yeah, exactly.
I always drew the fridge, man. That's why I stopped playing it. I just got sick of drawing the fridge. I'd rather draw Pot of Greed than just draw 2 cards. But no, he prefers scrapping up. So, looking at Jordan's hand, he sided Cosmic Cyclone going second. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I don't think I agree with that against the Spyral board. I'm not sure why you would do that.
Is it maybe something about the scrap? Well, I suppose Jordan technically doesn't actually know he's playing the scrap version at this point.
He might have thought
'Cause
he
you
was
haven't
going
seen the scrap
second. I might have thought you might have been mid to start, but he kept the mind control, so I don't think so. I'm very surprised he has Cosmic Cyclone because it feels like it's going to be a bit of a blank because we have a lot decided to go second. We have Dark Ruler no more, Ash Blossom if need be. I'm very curious as to why he put in Cosmic Cyclone. But never mind. Nevertheless, he still has a card like Mind Control, which can bait out the Tri-Gate Wizard if he does the scrap engine end on a Tri-Gate Wizard. Is he playing a Tri-Gate Wizard?
I think you can, yeah, but I'm not sure if he specifically is.
No.
He's got the Curious in there. So
maybe his brain's bigger than ours because he might be setting up to. He might be thinking that he's going to Griffin Curious into a card that won't allow him to play.
Okay.
So that's why he might have thought, I'll keep the Cosmic in just in case he's going to set like Imperial Order or something like that. Because he's played the scrap version like a lot more than me, so he might be thinking like that. But it does just feel like a blank to me. And he doesn't have that many monsters in hand either. Again, with the problem with Shaddoll, like not seeing enough Shaddoll monsters and seeing too many Shaddoll monsters can look a bit grim. But he can't just outright top Super Poly.
That is true.
Which would be very nice. And then he'll be able to start playing with his Invoked engine because he still has that as well.
So Kevin is going over his combo here, and we've got the rescue in the graveyard, which was sent with the with the master plan discarded off the Borg, getting the sleeper and the resort with the hand with master plan's grave effect. Incredible, like graveyard effect. Just add 2 cards from your deck to your hand.
It's mental.
Yeah,
it's good.
It's so important and so paramount to this deck strategy that you'll find that if you do draw the field spell, because it's mandatory to draw both cards, right? You don't.
You have to add the field spell with a Spyral card.
Yeah, so you can't add one or the other. You have to add both. So if you ever find yourself in a situation in Spyral where you open the field spell, you have to make Nightmare Unicorn, discard a card, spin your own card back to the deck just to try and use Master Plan. That's how important it is.
The thing is, that sounds like an absolute pain, but it's really not. Like,
it's not really a big deal.
You Spyral Resort, add a card, then you put it back with Unicorn, and then you just add it back again. Like, it's just fine. It really
like,
just doesn't
how
matter.
is it that spinning your own card away is like a positive thing in Yu-Gi-Oh?
Because you get to discard with Unicorn as well,
Yeah.
so you can discard things like the missions and the rescues and assault and stuff. So it can even be an extender as well as putting your card back.
It reminds me about like Infernity back in the day, where you'd like Direwolf pop your own monster
just to make space,
just to use launcher. Like, this is ridiculous.
Yu-Gi-Oh is so much fun.
I'm going -4.
Yeah.
Why am I doing this? But it's just the play.
When a card is so powerful, like it's just worth it to just go so minus. It even plays around Nibiru as well to Unicorn, because like you put the resort back and then like your Nibiru there. It's just like, okay, well I haven't triggered all my best monsters yet. Oh, so he is playing DD Crow. So he's gonna. DD Crow is surprisingly really strong against Shaddoll as well, because when a fusion monster tries to add back a fusion spell, you can just DD Crow it, which can shut them off from their win condition.
You can hit the Alistair or Invocation. There's a couple of decent targets here.
That would be quite annoying as well, yeah.
And especially if it's just part of your, natural engine combo to
just get it for
make
free.
Yeah, exactly.
Just get it for free, and it's just a good hand trap to hard draw anyway. I think people didn't do this in 2017 because when it was just predominantly Spyro mirror matches, it wasn't that great. But people were just doing it because it was a free DD Crow. But
I suppose when you're
impactful.
playing like triple machine dupe, triple quick fix, like
yes.
something like a DD Crow just seems like sort of underwhelming, right?
You're gonna DD Crow one of my quick fixes, huh? Okay, I'll summon the other 2. Oh, it's mental. Quick fix it free. I don't want to think about that. That would be crazy. But anyways, back to the field. So DD Crow will serve a purpose here, being able to stop Jordan from maybe getting some momentum. And he's going to use Agent's Effect. Does he know the top card?
I don't think he knows the top card
That's
yet.
a good card to draw anyway.
Foolish Burrow, yeah. That
which he probably wouldn't be drawing if he gets access to drones. Because then he would give that a good old...
He seemed really frustrated there when he didn't hit the correct top card there, so it seems like that might have...
I feel like there was a way to maybe get access to drones, so he would have known the top card, I feel. And maybe this is Appaloosa DD Crow Sleeper Pass? Maybe?
See what he ends up with here, but regardless, I think it's with the hand he drew. It was.
I got the impression it was full board.
It was just Scrap Recycler with the Magician Souls, but those are like both kind of starters that don't really get you unless you're like hitting the rescue in the process, right?
I think what would have been mental if he hit the agent there, he would have linked it away with the Lurolisk and ended on IP or any other link too, and it meant the agent was engraved with his mission, because they set the mission, but he can target that with Sleeper to pop 2 cards, so that'll be engraved, and he'll be able to hit a back row as well. That's why having that sort of setup is just really strong. Kind of plays around evenly matched too.
All right, so we're passing with the Sleeper here without the protection, however, so he is vulnerable.
He does get the Foolish Burial though, so that gives him a Shaddoll monster.
So I think that dice there is to indicate how many materials the Apollousa was made with, so...
You just kind of have to shotgun with Appaloosa, I think, because you need to get as much card advantage with it as possible. And there's a point where you can't use Appaloosa anymore because stuff just starts getting chain blocked and it's very infuriating. So as soon as he activates a monster effect, you just go, no.
There we go.
Power that.
Mind control. Absolutely hugely powerful.
The mental thing about that is he now has that Appaloosa with three negates.
It can stop the
Sleeper.
Sleeper.
It stops the Sleeper. It doesn't destroy the Sleeper.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter because he just want to negate it.
And of course the
Search
DD Crow in his hand, yeah. So mind control extremely powerful here. Jordan probably going to like hedgehog into Skomata here to try and get like another access to
that
a
could
Shaddoll
potentially
monster,
turn the tides of the whole game.
Yeah,
if he manages to get access to Shaddoll Fusion, he could potentially take this. He's lost his Sleeper access, he's lost his DD Crow access. This could be really, really good.
Yep. There's a Skomata added to the hand, super versatile card in Shaddoll. Send any Shaddoll card, not just monster, from your deck to the graveyard.
So that's why you have to max out on copies of Skomata, because it gets to pretty much anything you want.
I think Skomata has always been a staple 3 of in Shaddoll, like ever since like its inception.
You think that, but in the early days, people just played one. At least I played one. And I know.
Really?
I don't know why.
Okay.
I didn't think it was. I don't know. I don't know why. You didn't really play a big Shaddoll engine because you only had 3 Shaddoll Fusion.
Well, you're entitled to your wrong opinion.
Okie dokie. We'll argue about that afterwards. But it's looking really good for Jordan now that he has that Appaloosa, and not only that, but he could OTK him here. Like you can use Acapulco.
He doesn't have game, surely, does he?
I don't think he has enough Shaddoll monsters to get into
Famous
Acapulco.
last quotes.
Does he? No way.
He doesn't have game.
But he has access to Secure Gardener here because you can make Almirage and Secure Gardener.
Yep.
So it means you can El Shaddoll Fusion Skomata and the Secure Gardener into Construct, which can then get access to Shaddoll Fusion. So if you can get that in the graveyard and with the other link one, Gravity Controller, then off he goes.
The Shaddoll Fusion is just so powerful when you get to resolve it for its full effect.
Absolutely, man. Oh, there's no greater rush.
Yeah, so
there's a new
the serotonin is just best
from
feeling
the
ever.
deck.
God,
Have you ever done it before?
What? It's fused from deck?
Yeah.
No, I usually mill 3 from deck. That's kind of all I really do.
No, because that's random. It's just like, oh yeah, what am I gonna hit? Who knows?
It's like a slot machine.
Slot machine. 3 sevens.
I mean, 3 sevens is Grafseer Scarm. Just saying.
Well, that's a lot of effects.
All right, so rescue being chained here.
He's using it to add back a card.
Yeah, I think he just wants the Sleeper to pop here.
Swiftly negated. He's like, no, thank you.
This is, if there's another, chaining DD Crow here to hit the Alistair.
That's smart, because it's once per chain.
Yep, that's an incredibly intelligent play there by Kevin, realizing that Appaloosa is once per chain, so while he might not be able to use both of his effects separately, he will be able to guarantee at least one effect if he uses them in chain.
The thing is, what he can actually do is, it seems like he's been cut off from his Alistair engine, or Invoked engine.
Yeah.
However, the cool thing is, he can potentially Shaddoll Fusion, sending Alistair and a Shaddoll monster into Winder if you really want to get access to his engine again. However, it doesn't really make sense to, because if he goes into Gravity Controller, he only really has one zone and he can't link with Gravity Controller. So I don't think that's the line he's going to go for. He's probably going to make Construct from the deck for sure to get himself going with his light package with like Damage Juggler and Trick Clown and stuff, and he can just have a lot of extenders.
Is he going to the battle phase here? Was that a declaration of attack there?
I don't think so. I don't see why you would attack with this board. I don't see why you would want to attack over that at all, because you want an extra deck monster on the field.
So I think they're just reading something here to clarify.
Let's have a read a Secure Gardener, I suppose.
I can't. There we go. Just bringing it up for you now. And that is Secure Gardener, which is, after it's a special summon, you take no effect damage for the rest of this turn. By the way, this was insane in the Mind Mirror match. Just saying.
It was, I remember.
Just saying. You make it with a never mind, I can't remember how. Anyway, so for the rest, once per turn, if you would take battle or effect damage, you take no damage, cannot be used as link material, you can only control one secure guard now.
Okay.
Okay. So he's just going to attack over the little...
Is attack over it, okay.
Alright.
I don't quite agree with that play. But maybe you wanted to clear his board first and maybe... Yes, he's going to blow up the board because he's going to attack over the sleeper.
Okay.
That's quite nice, that's quite good.
Do you think maybe going down the line of like Shaddoll fusion from deck was like maybe a bit more better?
Yeah,
or?
I think so, yeah. I think he definitely... Maybe he didn't see the line, but I think you definitely wanted to get access to Shaddoll fusion.
Alright, so El Shaddoll Fusion, remember, quick play spell allowing you to fuse despite the fact you are in your battle phase, which is really, really important here because he's going to destroy the sleeper, which automatically is removed from the field by Construct's effect, which has to start a damage step. This battles a special summon monster, destroy this card, and that blows up his entire field there, including.
But it'll summon an agent from his deck.
Yeah, it will get an agent from his deck. However, he could choose to. I assume the summon from agent thing is part of the effect of the destruction. It's a one effect.
I think it's mandatory.
Yeah. Okay.
So you'd have to. He has to summon a tough or an agent.
And if you do special summon a super agent from your deck or graveyard, yep. Okay. All right.
I think the judge was just clarifying if you wanted to respond to the effect of sleeper with Appaloosa. Jordan was like, no.
I would very much like him to destroy his field.
That's absolutely
okay,
fine.
I think, are we doing a little rewind here?
Sleeper is mandatory, so it has to blow up boards.
So I think we're just waiting for the judge to clarify something here with the players.
Oh,
All right, okay, so it looks like it is going to resolve. All right.
I think he doesn't have an agent to summon.
Oh, is it maybe he doesn't have a target? Let's check his graveyard here. Let's see. What does he have? He's definitely used one agent.
He only plays two agent, which I think one's in his hand. And one
Oh, yeah, you're correct. Yeah, I think so perhaps maybe...
it's mandatory, so you have to resolve the card as much as possible.
Okay. And as per new tournament policy, he is not allowed to verify his
He
deck.
may not do
May
that.
I check you don't have a legal target, sir?
And there's Alistair the Invoker.
Yep. Alistair, Madness Invoker, when a monster is fusion summoned to a zone it points to, I think is exactly what it says.
No, it doesn't have to be. Doesn't have to
Oh,
be
it doesn't have to be a zone?
Any monster that's fusion summoned triggers this card.
Oh, yeah, even
it's
the mirror
not once
match.
per turn, yeah, so it's mental. So he's using to flip this to just summon back the Construct, which triggers again, by the way.
Construct is on special summon, not fusion
So
summon.
this will potentially send him another fusion, and he's probably just going to set up Window here.
Yeah.
And then which will totally lock him out of the game.
It seems like once you establish that window lock here, which I think he should be able to do fairly simply. He's got the Alistair in the hand and many Shaddolls on field, so this is a pretty good situation for him. So again, we're just like clarifying this sleeper thing once more, I believe.
Oh, it's specials from hand.
Oh, so we can special summon from hand. Okay. I mean, doesn't that sort of change things? Because there was quite a few plays that took play there.
I'm not sure. I don't think so. I mean, it's quite frustrating that he has a monster on the field, so I think it would.
I mean, he's committed to quite like a few plays after that had resolved.
I think he would more or less did the same thing, but I think he definitely wants to. Well, with time approaching, he doesn't want to get him to.
That is true. There is only 2 minutes left on the clock here. Jordan is ahead of him by 1,000 life points here. So I don't think there's any
not
really,
quite doing anything.
I think there's any really cheeky ways to go for direct damage with sleeper with a Spyral. I suppose you have last resort.
Last resort, yeah, which can be
last resort. Attack directly with drone boost in your guy.
And he hasn't searched that yet, so you could potentially lose to the last resort unless he sets up a way to pop it with Shaddoll.
So he's got resort in the graveyard.
He can also make Mechaba to negate it, so no real worry there.
All right, so Invocation coming down, fusing the Alistair, and he is going to banish the Sleeper, which is a light monster. Invocation's so powerful, acting as like some sort of a DD Crone as well as like.
It's crazy, right? Being able to
fusion.
fuse from your opponent's graveyard just makes it like so strong.
Yeah, because like they're giving you a lot of attributes in the process. You find sometimes people playing Invoke.
It's like a shopping catalog. You just have a little look and you're like, oh, I'll pick that one.
So you can either hit like important resources that would be like really beneficial to them on their turn, or you can simply like just because sometimes what you find is like Invoke players I've seen running Raijin, despite not having any wind monsters, because Droll's really popular. So a lot of people can sometimes just like make a Raijin just by banishing your opponent's Droll.
You have a lot of room in the extra deck if you just play in pure Invoked, because you wouldn't have the Shaddoll package as well. So yeah, why not? Why wouldn't you? Because like if you could potentially just summon it for free, then why not, right? So it looks like he's just going to unicorn it away just so he has one less summon, because he is ahead on life here and there's only a minute left.
Yeah, he doesn't want to risk any kind of like
so he can
last
sort of,
resort.
Run down the clock, I suppose, just by making plays at a reasonable pace, and he can set El Shaddoll Fusion, which will allow him to make a Winder.
Yeah, he should be able to establish Winda as well. There's the set El Shaddoll Fusion. You've got the Dark in the Unicorn and the Shaddoll Monster in Ariel, who's in the process going to be able to remove cards from the graveyard of Kevin as well. You can see what he top decks here. Quick fix, where art thou? Okay.
That is quite powerful, yeah. I don't know if the clock
pretty
is
good
right.
combo.
He has 20 seconds to deal more than 1,000 life, which is possible. He can bring back a monster from the graveyard, even though he changed El Shaddoll Fusion.
Time is a ticking. I'm pretty sure it is accurate for us here, but it's still, despite that quick fix, where art thou? Great combo, but not when you have, you know, Winda and Merkaba
He
live.
can still win if he gets Last Resort. He can use it to equip to a monster that's more. Oh, he is banishing that.
Yep,
okay.
he's going to up to, and there's the scoop.
There it is.
Great.
So he must have seen that he can still add Last Resort, so that would mean that he can attack directly. And good play from Jordan to use his battle phase to deal damage at least, because I think he recognized that it was really important to be able to deal damage with only 3 minutes left.
I was just going to say that was a great game, really back and forth. We saw a lot of the interactions of the deck take place there that are sort of hallmarks of how these decks function. You know, we saw the Scrap player doing those combos with the Scrap Recycler as well as the Magician Souls, and we saw Shaddoll really displaying the power of merging with the Invoked engine. You know, being able to have the versatility in Secure Gardener, the Alistair combinations, the
Exactly, yeah.
So many like really
the hand didn't look particularly strong either, but since he had the mind control, it just allowed him to just push through the board of
it was literally
Appaloosa
just mind
Sleeper.
control.
Yeah, mind control, very strong card.
Super clutch. And if there's any reason why you needed to know why that card went to 2, I mean that is exactly why.
It's actually so good it's in the main deck, even though it's not a particularly strong going first card. It's just so good.
I think
especially if you play the mirror match and you remember the old days where you mind control the beast and you're like flip and you
oh
draw
my god,
yes. Remember?
Yes,
mental
mind
crazy,
control on a set beast.
Insane.
Oh man, it's really interesting because like I feel like this deck is not very good versus like sort of the rogue, like maybe not the deck in general, but this specific list.
The Shaddoll monsters are floaty,
That
so
is
they're really
true.
hard for like decks like Geist to deal with. Right, okay, you have a hand where you just set Scum out, right? A man-eater bug. What's Melcy going to do? You attack direct, okay, send that, okay, effect send. It's like,
So
sure.
I think the most important thing here is just how well this is made for top cut. Do you know what I mean? Like this is a really good top cut list.
Exactly, yeah. Like, and you've got to be
with the Super
mindful of
Polys and
that.
mind
Like,
control.
you can build a deck to do well in Swiss, so you can build a deck to be good in Top Cut. So once you get past the main event Swiss, you can play a lot of like Rogue that you're not particularly used to. But once you hit Top Cut, that's when your side deck will come in. That's when it's really important, because that's when you need to have it very high impact in Top Cut, so you can go deep in Top Cut. And I think a lot of people realize that. And I think the side deck and your deck of choice can be the difference between like how far you're going in Top Cut for sure.
I think Jordan has a really strong chance of going quite far into top cut, so we'll see how it plays out in the end. Commiserations to Kevin, who definitely fought a hard-fought duel, and I think he did the best that his cards in that duel specifically like allowed him to.
It's a shame his day is over today, but I'll be looking forward to seeing him at Euros. He's played a really strong build, and it was a well-fought fight, but today, Jordan Gallacher advanced in the top 16 today.
Gallagher?
Gallacher.
Thanks, everyone. We're going to be heading over to Jordan now for a quick player interview, and we'll be back shortly for the next round.
Thank you, Nadia. Yes, I'm here with Jordan. Jordan, that went pretty well.
Yeah, I think so. Managed to take the win, luckily. I'm pretty happy with that.
How was the pressure of the feature match? Did it get to you, do you think?
I've had quite a few feature matches. I don't really feel the pressure, to be honest. I probably made some mistakes anyway, but other than that, like I don't really feel the pressure, so I'm cool with that.
So, will this be the furthest you've got in a YCS at this point? So you're now in the top 16?
Yeah, previously my top 32s, I have the two top 32s, and I lost in the top 32 both of them. So yeah, this is the best I've done.
I mean, congratulations. That's a pretty big kind of like challenge to be able to get over your best, you know. So were you even thinking about that? Doesn't seem like it.
Not really, no. Just I'm playing as it goes, play every game one at a time, see how far I can get, try play my best in every game.
I'm glad I pointed it out. I'm glad I pointed it out. So that's pretty good. You know, what do you think there's going to be? I mean, you must have looked at the top cut already. Have you seen the deck breakdown? Is there anything you're really like scared of that's on your side of the bracket?
Not really. All the stuff in the Top Cut breakdown is the stuff I expected and prepared for. There's the 11 other decks that I'm not entirely sure what they were at all. So it depends what they are, I guess. But out of the ones that they've shown, yeah, I'm fine with it.
Well, I guess that's the thing, right? It's those represented decks you already kind of knew. So that's why they're so highly represented. You've seen them, but the lower ones you've not yet seen. So could be anything. Speculate for us. What do you think they might be?
Oh, I really could not guess. I think Mech Knight Invoked maybe, unless there's like a separate category for that. Yeah, so like, that sort of stuff. Probably something like that. Maybe Guru. I don't think that was in one of the lists. Maybe a Guru player. I'm not entirely sure.
I don't remember there being one, but there was a weird Salomon Great variant as well. I can't remember exactly what it was, but yeah. What do you think is your worst matchup of the decks that are left that you know of?
Probably Dino. They don't really struggle with Winda at all because Oviraptor searches a Kaiju. So Dino is the hardest matchup, and they make you start, and they have like evenly matched Lightning Storms, Kaijus. So that was definitely the hardest matchup of what's left.
And what would you? I mean, if you sit down next round and you see something, what would you be really happy to see on the other side of the table?
Salamangreat.
Oh, really? Why is that?
The matchup is just so extremely favorable. Like, they don't have a choice. They have to use their extra deck. They can't really attack with Jaguars to try and win the game. So Shaddoll Fusion always like gets to send stuff from deck. If you have Meltdown, they can't use Roar on Shaddoll Fusion or Cyanide Conflict. And then I have Super Poly in my side deck with Violet Chimera, which is like an auto win.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we see that for you in the next round. Yeah, go take some rest, take some time, have a relax, stay hydrated. You guys at home as well. You can't just sit and watch the Twitch stream. You gotta stay hydrated. You know, it's pretty important. Well, congratulations, and hopefully we'll see you further on in the tournament. And for you guys at home, we're going to be back with the top 16 very soon.